Climb is the mid-season finale of Arrow, Season 3, Episode 9. I just got done watching it. Wow. Where do I begin with this episode? Well, the episode begins with, we see Arrow being sort of overtaken by a bunch of members of the League of Assassins. And they basically give him an ultimatum of saying, hey, either you provide us with Sarah's killer, or we're gonna basically redo the undertaking that Malcolm Merlyn did all that time ago. So that's pretty much what Oliver had to do. Before I get back into that, though, I want to mention the Felicity and Ray Palmer stuff, because the first scene, I was kind of rolling my eyes when Felicity was giving him the cold shoulder. He was trying to talk to her, and she was being the way she was being. I just thought, okay, here we go. Unnecessary drama. I didn't really know why she was acting like this towards him, because the last time we saw them together, they were kissing. Then he mentioned that, I guess after they kissed, he left in a weird way, and so she was offended by it. So, okay, but still I thought it was a little manufactured. But then later on, when he finally sat her down and said, look, I'm going to tell you that last spring, was it, when Slade Wilson had his men overtake the city, and they were just all over the streets killing people left and right. Well, apparently they killed his fiancée. They broke her neck. And they broke his leg, so he was forced to sit there and watch. And wow, that was messed up. I wasn't expecting that from him. I'm glad that we got this from him, this new side, this vulnerable side. It does make sense, because Felicity is the first person that he's kissed since his fiancée. And I like this because this tells us why he is doing what he's doing. I love the moment when he told Felicity how he's building the Atom suit, and he asked her to help him, and she said, why does this keep happening to me? That made me laugh out loud. I love that. We see a scene of Laurel talking to Sarah's grave, and I like this. I mean, I should probably address this now. I've been seeing a ton of hate for Laurel, and I don't get it. I mean, look, I understand Season 2, Laurel was annoying. And she did have that whole, oh, woe is me, everything is not my fault, and I have this drinking problem, and I'm popping pills, feel bad for me. I get it. She was annoying then. This season, though, I feel like she's redeemed herself from that, and maybe just more people are giving her character backlash because they know where she's going. But I don't know. I'm letting her character progress. I'm allowing to see how her character hopefully naturally goes on to becoming who we all know that she becomes. I liked that Thea came up and the two of them talked, and Laurel even told Thea what happened to Sarah, which is still surprising. She hasn't told her father, but she tells Thea. I know why she hasn't told her father, of course, the heart condition, but it's just, Laurel is such a horrible liar. It's amazing that when her mom comes back into town, her mom can easily tell that Laurel is lying when it pertains to Sarah. And at least with the father, he would think that she's lying because he knows she's lying. He's thinking that it's to protect the fact that Sarah is somewhere with the League. So at least that's excusable for him to not know. But even when Laurel lies to him normally about Sarah being gone, he hasn't caught her lying either. So I thought that was a bit odd. Roy was here. He was there, I think. Was he there? Yeah, he was. He was there in the scene when Oliver was interrogating the guy about flying Malcolm back into the city. And then I think he was there in the Arrow Cave. But did he do anything? Not really. Just wanted to mention that. When Felicity saw the DNA on the arrows that killed Sarah, and it looked like Oliver did it. I obviously didn't think that Oliver killed Sarah, but I was wondering where they were going. And when Diggle instantly jumped all over Thea's case and said, it's Thea. They have the same blood, the same DNA, the height of the trajectory of how they think the arrow was shoved into Sarah. It all made sense. And I've heard this theory from people floating around that Thea was the killer. I thought it was a possibility, but throughout the episode, she threw me off completely. When Laurel was talking to her and she seemed genuinely surprised and upset to hear that Sarah was dead, and then when Oliver went to her like a last time to talk to her, and she admitted about the Malcolm thing because then Oliver saw the security footage of her with Malcolm. So she admitted to that, but she still pretended like she didn't know anything about Sarah or anything like that. So I believed her. I did. And I even loved the moment when Arrow confronted Thea. It reminded me of in season 1 where Arrow just went after his mom and he attacked his mom. He came busting through the window, scared the hell out of her. You have failed this city. I love that when that happened. So when this happened here, I was like, fucking A, awesome. Let's see what happens. And then Thea starts fighting back. I mean, I know she's well trained, but that just completely caught me off guard. And then she jumps off the railing. And even Oliver had a look at his face like, fuck. So then that's when he talks to Malcolm, and Malcolm says, well, he shows him the footage of, yes, indeed, it was Thea that killed Sarah, that shot the arrows into her. But he explains that there was this flower or some type of toxin that can mind control people and then have them not remember what they just did. So I guess Malcolm mind controlled Thea to kill Sarah so that he would have leverage over Oliver to use this to make Oliver face Ra's al Ghul man to man. And a little convoluted, sure. Am I happy that Malcolm was behind it all? I don't know. I mean, it's just, I still don't know why he did it. I mean, I know it's because to get Oliver to take blame for it, but still, I guess in his mind, he thinks if Oliver takes this blame, it would overshadow Malcolm being a target for the League, I guess. Now, before I get to the ending, I want to mention the flashback stuff that we got to Hong Kong, because I don't really mention the Hong Kong flashbacks enough. But really the only reason why I want to mention it is because of that fight between China White and Yukio from the Wolverine. That's her name from the Wolverine, but I don't remember what her character's name is here. But the fight that they had was so badass, so awesome. I just wish we saw more of it. It ended too quickly, but figuring out a way to get China White back into the show, whether it's just the flashbacks now, is worth it. Throughout the episode, we saw Oliver climbing this mountain, and I actually loved how the episode started with it, and then every commercial break began with Oliver climbing the mountain. That was really cool. It not only showed how much he had to go through to climb the mountain, very Batman Begins-like, but it was building towards something. You knew the end of this episode would be epic. And epic it was, because that's when we get the confrontation, the fight between Oliver and Ra's al Ghul. And I know some people were cracking jokes over the two of them being shirtless and fighting with swords, completely ripping off Batman's fight with Ra's al Ghul, where they're shirtless and they fight with swords from the comic books and even the animated series. I know. I've said countless times that this show is Batman. And if you need any more proof, this last scene was that. But either way, I got completely invested into what was going on. I was trying to figure out how would Oliver be able to beat Ra's al Ghul. And I thought it was more interesting before the fight when Ra's al Ghul said it's been 67 years since somebody has challenged him. And I mean, that pretty much confirms the fact that there is a Lazarus pit. It exists in this universe. And I think that's very important, especially by how the episode ends. I know that there has been references to the Lazarus pit in one way or another, but I think that comment confirmed it. Now, the fight, I thought Oliver held his own. Ra's al Ghul, though, almost fighting him with his arms behind his back. I mean, that was a little showing off much. But Ra's al Ghul kills Oliver. He jams the sword right into his chest. He says almost like a prayer to him, forgiving his sins and whatnot, and then just kicks him off the mountain. And that's how the episode ends, with Oliver's dead body going off of the mountain. And holy fuck, I mean, I was floored. I was shocked. I was not expecting that at all. Obviously, now I've been thinking about it, and I think I know what they're going to do with it, but still, I give this show props. I fully respect this show for ending the mid-season finale like this. It was unexpected. It was shocking. It's definitely one of those things of like, fuck, what do they do now? If I had to make predictions, I think since we have now, in my head, confirmed the Lazarus pit, I think somebody will put Oliver's body into the Lazarus pit. And then he'll come back, and obviously it would screw him up a little bit, because the Lazarus pit is no joke. But that has to be where they're going with this. It has to be. If they do that, then it will be awesome to see where that goes. I guess that does leave it open for other characters who have died in the past. Maybe somehow they're alive too. I don't know, Tommy, but I'm thinking way too far ahead. I loved this mid-season finale, if I haven't made that any more clear. I very much enjoyed it, especially the ending. I was left on my couch with my mouth open, my jaw just open for a good 60 seconds after the episode ended. That's how you know this got me. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you saw the mid-season finale of Arrow. What did you think of it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!